Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to continuously join your Sunburst hexagon motifs together. Now, if you're familiar with my coastline sunburst blanket pattern, then you've already got the basics down. I kind of did things backwards this time, so I started with the hardest method, and each hexagon tutorial from here on out will be a little tiny bit easier. So if you know the tutorial I'm referring to, I am very pleased to let you know that this one is a little bit easier. Instead of taking a sunburst center and joining while turning it into a hexagon, this time we already have our hexagon shape, ba-boom, and we are going to just be doing a continuous join. So there's no fancy stitches, it's just slip stitching and double crochets. The yarn I'm going to be using is from my Sunburst Hexie blanket pattern, which is Hobbii yarn Tweed Delight. I think maybe I have a, here it is. Ta-da! Yeah. So yeah, it calls for a 5mm hook, and that is exactly what I am using. The color I am using to join will be the same as the actual blanket, and it's this neon tweed color, and I will have all of those descriptions in the description box below, or I will have all of the details in the description box below, is what I should have said. So let's get started. I'm going to assume you know all of your basic stitches, and we're just going to try and breeze through the basics of joining your blanket up. So what I like to do for hexagons is I like to arrange all of my hexagons in the length of the blanket, okay? So my blanket is going to be 9 across by 10 down. So I like to line up my rows in piles of 10. So we have our peaks along the length of our blanket, and we have our, big hexagon troughs as the width of our blanket. Okay, and if you want, you can, I'm not doing it for this blanket because I actually really like the raw edge of the hexagon. I don't know, I think it just adds character to the blanket, so I like to keep mine, raw. But if you want to do a half hexagon sunburst, then you can put them here, and then that would square off the top and bottom of your blanket. Okay, but I don't. I like to keep mine, hexagonal. Hexagonal. There we go. Off to a great start already, right? Okay, so this is my blanket. So we are going to do the tutorial by joining the top 3, and then we're going to start the next row and do 2 more, and that should give you a really good idea of how the joins happen, how we finish off the bottom, and you should be good to go to join up an entire blanket from there. So I'll try and wrestle my blanket. It is a work in progress. So I have my hexagons, and I'm going to join up the first 3, okay? And then I'm going to start my second row down here. Now, when you're joining your blanket with hexagons, because the rows aren't flush, they're kind of inset because we have our peaks, right? We have 6 sides instead of 4, so they're not going to all just fit together like a square. So for our first row, it's inset a little bit, and then for the next row, it's actually out a little bit, okay? So it dips in and then comes back out, okay? And that is something that is really easy to figure out. It seems a little bit daunting right now, and when I first started doing the continuous join as a go, it hurt my brain a teeny tiny little bit, but once you get through the first couple, you're like, oh, this is a breeze. And this is definitely one of those things where you have to just do it, and then you'll get it. If you're just listening to the tutorial, you're like, yeah, hard pass, I'll skip it. But if you actually give it a try, I promise that it is very, very easy. Very easy. And you'll wonder why you had waited so long to learn. Okay, so we are going to start in this corner over here. We're going to join our yarn and work up the tip, down the side, and down this side, okay, till we get to this point here. And then we're going to join our next one. I'll take my next one off the pile. I will join it and go up, over, and across, just to give you guys a heads up of where we're going here. Also, I like to grab a stitch marker. Oh, I don't have any fun ones. I just have a brown one. Boo. All my fun ones are in use. But I like to put a stitch marker in my corner just because you can get really turned around when you're working your rows of hexagons. So I like to know exactly which one was my starting, where I was, just so that I can easily see it without having to like pull back the whole blanket and go, wait a minute, where was I? So we've got our hexagon in this corner right over here. We're going to insert our hook, place your yarn over your hook, pull through, okay? You're gonna yarn over both of those tails and just pull that on. So that is a join and a chain one, all in one, and I'm gonna chain one more for a total of a chain two, okay? And that counts as a double crochet. I'm gonna yarn over and make one more double crochet. So insert hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two. That's 2 double crochets, technically speaking. Then I'm gonna chain one for a corner. So we're starting on a corner here. And I'm going to yarn over and do 2 more double crochets into that same chain one space of this corner here, okay? So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. So you have your very first corner. Where are we? There we are. Now I'm going to insert my stitch marker. If you don't have a stitch marker, just, you know, a piece of yarn, tie it in a cute little bow, just so that you don't get turned around and upside down on yourself. Just makes life a little bit easier. You don't have to, totally optional. So now we're going to work up this one side of the hexagon here to our next corner. Okay, and to do that, all we're doing is 3 double crochets in each of the spaces. Okay, so these are our granny clusters or granny shells, however you want to refer to them as, and we're going to work in between them with 3 double crochets. So another granny shell. Okay, 1, 2, 3, like so. We're going to do the next one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. There's 3 up the sides, okay, in between each of the corners. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we are at our next corner. This is the peak of our hexagon, okay? So this is going to be the top leading edge of the length of your blanket. So we're going to do 2 double crochets. 1, 2, chain 1, and 1, 2 in that same space. 1, 2. Okay, so that's your first peak. We're going to come down the side and work down this one. So 2 more sides. And all we're doing is 3 double crochets. And I'm going to try and keep this closer to the camera so that my stitch marker isn't tapping on the desk the entire time. Oh no. I don't know if that'll drive you nuts, but it'll definitely drive me nuts. Okay, I'm taking it out. I'm sorry, I can't do that. Cannot listen to that for the next 40 minutes of my life. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and I'm in my next corner. So in my next corner, I'm going to do 2 double crochets, okay? Chain 1, 2 double crochets, and that's all it is. So you're working 3 double crochets along your sides, and then in the corners, it's 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, all right? Now I'm working down this last side. By the way, I'm going very fast because this is going to be a super long tutorial, so I'm not waiting. But I am going to work through the whole thing, so you don't have to worry about me going, okay, I'll meet you back. I'm going to work through it with you guys. If I'm going too fast, just pause the video, get caught up, okay? Also, there should be, I don't know, 3 little dots somewhere up here. Maybe it's down here, I don't know. And you can change the playback speed. So if I'm going way too fast, or if you just want to slow it down, I have a knot. How does that even happen? If it's just going way, way, way too fast, then you can change the playback speed and sort it out. Are you kidding me? How does that even happen? Okay. Catastrophe averted. where am I here? Okay, so this is my last corner. So this is the edge. I'm going to turn it around so we can see where we are. This is what we've done. Okay, this is my last corner. I'm going to work half of this corner because then I'm going to plunk down another hexie. So this is the fun part. Okay, we're going to work 2 double crochets into this corner and just chain 1. Okay, so this is what we've done. And this is why it's kind of important to have a stitch marker or something there just to keep track for the first little bit, because sometimes you can just keep working your edges and you're like, oh, I've gone too far. Ask me how many times I went too far and then had to like pull it back out. Ask me. Go ahead. Too many times. For someone who knows better. Okay, so with our next hexagon lined up, we are going to yarn over and we're going to do what's called a standing double crochet stitch to join this hexagon to this one. So we have our corner here that we want to join into. We want to make sure that our yarn is behind our working motif, and we're going to insert our hook into that chain 1 space of the corner. Hopefully a little smoother than I did. Okay, so you should have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So that is joined. Ta-da! Now we are going to pinch that little chain 1 that we did, and we're going to work into the top of this stitch. So this last double crochet you did on your blue hexagon or your first hexagon here, we're going to work into that one. So that's why I say pinch this chain 1. It just helps to keep things in their place. Insert your hook from front to back. Okay, yarn over and you're just slip stitching. Okay, and then you work 1 more double crochet into your joining hexagon in that same corner space. Okay, so that is super joined. You've got half this corner worked. Now I'm going to work in between these 2 clusters of stitches. Okay, you can, if you want, work into the top of the stitch. It doesn't matter. I like to work in between just because once you get it all joined up, it kind of separates them more and keeps that granny cluster thing going on. It just separates them a little bit, gives them a little more definition. But if you're going to lose track, just work into the top of that stitch. Doesn't matter. Personal preference. Okay, so I'm going to go into the space instead of the top of the stitch, and I'm just slip stitching. Okay, and then I'm going into the next space on my joining hexagon and working a double crochet into there. Okay, now the first stitch right here, okay, so the top of this first double crochet here, I'm going to work into that. So I'm going to slip stitch from front to back, yarn over and pull through, and then I'm going to work my double crochet into my joining motif like so. And I'm going to do another one into the top of this stitch and double crochet. And that's all we're doing, folks. Really easy. Now I have 1 more stitch here, but instead of working into the top of the stitch, I'm going to go in between the clusters. Now I'm going to work in between over here. 1 double crochet, slip stitch, 2 double crochet, slip stitch, 3 double crochet, slip stitch. Okay, let's pull back and see what we've done so far. All right, so all we're doing is slip stitching to this one and working our double crochets on that one. Real easy. Now, I like to do my slip stitches by inserting my hook from front to back, and it gives this really cute braided effect, if you can see. There it is. I think it's super, super cute. But there is another way, and I will show you right now. So let's get situated here. So you can pull up a loop on your hook and pinch it, and you can insert your hook and then put that loop back on and pull through, and then work your next stitch, pull up a loop, insert your hook, put that loop back on your hook and pull through. And this kind of gives a different look. Let me just do it a few more times so that you can kind of see what look that is. It's a little more invisible. I don't like it. I think if you're going to do a join that's visible, why not just make it pretty? Right? So it just kind of gives this sort of invisible, sort of rounded rope effect. I don't know. I like the braided look a little bit better, but if you were in the market for a different join, then that's totally up to you. I think this is where no, one more. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the braided method just because I like it. It's my favorite. I think it's so pretty. So from front to back, we're just slip stitching and double crocheting front to back until we get to our corner. Okay. Now I have a corner over here that I've come to. So I'm going to work 1 double crochet into that chain 1 corner. Okay. And I'm going to insert my hook and slip stitch. Work my 2nd double crochet in that corner. And we know that we only do 2 double crochets in our corners, right? And there's that top of that stitch. Okay, but I always work into the space. I don't go into the top of that stitch. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go right into that corner space, slip stitch, and then I'm going to chain 1 for a little wiggle room. And I'm going to finish off this corner here with 2 double crochets. Okay, so we have fully joined one side of this orange hexagon to the first one. Exciting. Give yourself a pat on the back. Okay, so I did my 2 double crochets in that corner space. It's all joined up. Now we're just working double crochets all the way along until we get to this edge here. Okay, easy peasy. So 3 double crochets in each space till we get to our corner. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm in my corner, chain 1 space. I'm going to do 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. So I'll just pull back, let you have a look at what I did, because I know I was going super fast. Okay, now I'm going to work this side and then back down to here. And I'm going to stop here and only do half of this corner, because then I have to join another hexagon. So working down the side, I'm putting 3 double crochets into each of the spaces between the granny shells or granny clusters, whatever you like to call them. Isn't this yarn so fun? I love it, but I'm hesitant. It's more of one of those roving type yarns, so there's very minimal twist to it. And I've used this yarn before in one of my patterns, and it just gets so pilly. It's fine, like you just shave it, but so crazy bally and pilly. So while I love this yarn and it's super soft and it's fun to work with, I am a little worried about the wear. So we shall see. Okay, so I've worked down that side. I'm just going to do half of this corner with 2 double crochet, chain 1, right? Pull back. Let's have a look at what we did. Okay, so we've got our 2nd hexagon fully joined up. We want to join another one over here. So I've got my chain 1. Now I'm going to yarn over, and we want to make sure that we have our corners lined up. So we're going into this one, working yarn behind you, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on our hook. Okay, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that green one is joined up now. We're going to pinch that chain 1 and we're going to insert into the last double crochet stitch over here. Ooh, that was a mouthful. Work another double crochet into our joining hexagon, and then I'm going straight into the space between these ones, and I start going up my row. All right, so double crochet, slip stitch, double crochet, slip stitch, double crochet in between the space. Okay, and then start on your next group, double crochet, slip stitch, double crochet, slip stitch. I think you get it by now. Okay, so I'm coming up to our corner here. So I've worked the first double crochet into this chain 1 corner space. Now I'm going to slip stitch, work my second one, okay, and then I'm going to go straight into that corner. There's a corner, I swear. It's hard to see the Tweedy flecks sometimes. They're floofy. And then I'm going to chain 1 just to give myself a little wriggle room, and I am going to finish off my 2 double crochet into this corner. Pull it back, have a look. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful, right? Super easy, guys. Now we're going to work up this side and back down around, and when we come down to here, I am going to work this full corner, and then I'm going to finish off all of these naked bottoms. Okay? This is the fun bit. So let's work around our hexagon with our double crochet stitches. I'm in my corner, so I'm going to do 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, and then I'm going to work down my side with my 3 double crochets. Okay, I'm at a corner, so I'm going to do 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, and my work's starting to turn on me, so I'm just gonna let that happen. Continue working down our side on this last one. And of course, if you're joining up a blanket, it's probably going to be wider than 3 hexagons, so you would just do half the corner when you get to that bottom edge and join your next hexagon and keep going until you have the full length of your blanket or pillow or scarf or whatever it is you're making. Okay, so I'm at that bottom corner. You chain 1 and then you just join your next one and keep going forever and ever until you have the width of your project that you're working on. Okay, width or length, I should say, because I am doing length. But I'm going to pretend that I have the entire length of my project done, and now it's time to finish off all of these bottoms. What happens to these naked bottoms? That's what we're going to do now. So I'm going to work this corner like normal. I'm going to chain 1 and finish it off with 2 double crochet. Okay, and I'm going to show you my bottoms, which are now facing up, right? So the top of our blanket is facing us, And now I'm going to finish off these bottoms. Okay, so let's work along this side, put in a corner, and work back down this side until we get to this over here. What is this? What do we do with this? We're going to find out. So just like before, 3 double crochets in each of the spaces along your sides here. Okay. I actually don't think I need to do 2. Do I need to do 2? 1, 2. Or can I just do 1 to show you the corners? I think I can just do 1 over here. Save some time. Thinking out loud. Look at that. Sharing my inner thought process with you all. How lucky are you? Okay, I'm still working on this last side here, trying to get to that spot where we don't know what we do yet, but if you followed along on any of my videos, spoiler alert, it's the exact same as all the other continuous joins that you have done in the past. So we are at this corner. We only have 2 stitches in here, and we know that each of our corners has 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, right? So let's do the obvious thing and put in 2 double crochets to start, because we got to finish the other half of that corner. So we've got 2 double crochets. Now what? I'm going to chain 1, and in here, just jam your hook in, okay? No, I'm not joking. So we're gonna try and find, and this yarn's very floofy, but there is a chain 1 space in there. See? It's there. Because we chained 1, remember? So let's jam our hook in and just try and get it nice and clean. As clean as you can manage. Okay? I'll pull up that loop there. That kind of opens it up. Now you can see the chain 1 space, right? We're just slip stitching into that spot. And then you're going to chain 1, and we have another half corner over here. So let's just do the obvious thing, which is to finish off that corner. Let's put 2 double crochets in there like so. And then we're going to pull back and look at what we did. Look at that. Okay. Perfect joined corners. Voila. Now we just keep going. Okay, we're just going to work along the sides, putting our double crochet stitches in. Nothing fancy there. We know how to do that. Easy peasy, right? Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Goodness, I need a sip of coffee. It's sitting over here in the corner, just off camera, screaming to me. Okay, so I worked this peak, the corner, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. Now I'm going to work down this side towards this next corner over here. And we're going to finish it off just like we did that last one. I don't know about you, but I just find this process so satisfying. And it looks so beautiful in the end. It's so fast. You save yarn. You save on sewing in ends. Slip stitching is like excruciating for me. There's a time and a place for it, and it looks really cute in some projects, but the process, oof. So I love the continuous joins and join as you go. Okay, so let's finish off this corner, right? We've got half a corner, so let's, not panic. 2 double crochet, because that's the obvious thing to do here, right? Sometimes we get ourselves worked up more than we need to. And if you just go ahead and do the obvious thing, like finishing off that corner, it just kind of clicks and you're like, oh, right. Then I chain 1, and then I have to do that slip stitch thing where I just jam my hook in any old spot here. Kidding. There's a chain 1 space. Shh, don't tell. Okay, 2 double crochet, finish off this corner. There you go. Perfect, right? Now we are going to work this side here. To our corner space. And this is when you have to do a little bit of guesswork. Not guesswork. I shouldn't say that. That's not what it is. You just have to stop and use your brain a little bit more than the rest of the project. So remember how I talked about in the beginning how the rows are inset from one another? So this one's inset and then this one's kind of out a little bit. So right now I'm going to join one that's in a little bit. So I only have to do half of this corner. For the rows that start out, you do one more and then it comes up here. Okay, do you see how that would happen? So I only go to this corner for the rows that are indented, and for the rows that are not, then we stitch all the way to this corner. Okay, that's it. So I'm going to do half of this corner. Long story short, 2 double crochet, chain 1. And we're going to flip it. Flip it back over so that your project is right side up. Okay, this is where we started originally, and this is our next row that we need to start. And we want to put our hexagons in here. So I'm going to do that. Maybe I'll show you. Now I'll do it later. Okay. Again, thinking out loud, lucky you. So do one of those fancy double crochet standing stitches. Okay, we're going to yarn over, and now we want our peak to be in like this, right? So we want to make sure we're joining to the right corner here. I mean, it doesn't matter if you join at any corner, it's eventually just gonna flip. But just so that you're situated and showing you which one, working yarn behind your project, insert into a corner, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so that's joined. We've got the start of our second row. Now I'm going to pinch that chain 1, and just like we joined all the other hexagons, I'm doing the exact same thing. Okay, working a slip stitch into that very first stitch of that corner, and then I'm going to work a double crochet over here to finish off that joining. Now I'm going to work into the space. Okay, slip stitch, and then we're just going to work our double crochet stitches. So exact same thing that we've been doing this whole time. Slip stitching and double crocheting. And eventually we're going to get to this juncture here. Okay. And I'll show you what to do when we get there. Until then, slip stitch and double crochet. Okay, so we're coming up on a corner. Okay, so we have to work our corner here. So we're going to do 2 double crochets. So this is my first one, slip stitch, my other one. So I worked the first half of that corner. Now, what do? I slip stitch into the corner, right? I never work into the top of that stitch because I don't like to. I go into my corner so that we have nice tight corners, and I just slip stitch. Okay, now we want to have nice tight corners, so we're going to also slip stitch into this one. Okay, so there is a corner space over here in between those 2 double crochets, and my hook's right here. I'm just going to insert it, pop it over from front to back, bring that yarn and slip stitch it. Okay, so now that corner is nice and tight. You're not going to get gapes and pulls and holes when you're using or wearing or whatever your project. Okay, so now what? We have to finish the corner over here. Remember, we've only got half a corner, so I'm going to work 2 double crochets. My first one, just like so, And now we're slip stitching this way. So now we're slip stitching to this motif, okay? So this motif right here, the first stitch in there, okay? And then work your double crochet over here. And that finishes off that corner. Okay. Now we're going to go into this space over here. I'm going to pull up on my yarn. There. And now we just work along with our double crochets. So easy. So whenever you come to a juncture where you've got two corners, slip stitch into the one right beside you, and then slip stitch into the next one. Chain one, and then carry on. Okay, so I think that's pretty straightforward. Do I need to do this one? I mean, it's the same thing, just over and over and over. I think we get it. Do we get it? Okay, so I'm in my corner. I'm going to work my 2 double crochets, slip stitch, chain 1. Okay? And then I'm going to work straight down this side, right? There's nowhere else for me to go. There's no other place that I need to join this hexagon. So I'm going to work down this side so that you can see when I work down here, then I join my next one and I work back up over, and I guess I should technically show it. I'm trying to get away with a shorter tutorial, but it's not going to work, is it? Okay, I'll show it. Okay, so 2 double crochets to finish off that corner, and then we're just working down this side. And when we get to the bottom in our corner space, we're only going to work half that corner because then we're going to join our next hexagon. So I'm in my corner space. I'm going to put in 2 double crochet, like so, and chain 1. Now I am ready to join what we are pretending is the last hexagon in my row. So I'm going to yarn over and do one of those standing stitches, right, into the corner space, yarn over, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, pinch our little chain 1 here, and slip stitch into that first or last double crochet from the previous hexagon. And the exact same thing we've been doing all along. We're just slip stitching and double crocheting back up the side of this one. Okay. So yeah, you get into a groove and it goes by really quickly when you join up your blanket this way. I do want to cut my yarn and show you guys how I deal with adding in a new skein as well, but I'll do that maybe on the bottom, the backwards pass. Okay, we're working our corner here. So I've worked my first double crochet. This is my second one. Now I'm slip stitching into this corner one right beside me. Okay, and then I'm going to go into the next hexagon. So front to back, slip stitch, and then just chain 1. We're going to finish off the corner on this hexagon. So we're going to do 1 double crochet, and then we're going to slip stitch into this one up here, into our next hexie. Okay, so that's 2 to finish off the corner. Now let's pull up and see what we've done. Get that kind of out of there. Okay, So we have joined up the side here, and now we're going this direction, and then we'll join this juncture here by slip stitching, and then over here, and then hop down and finish the corner, back down, around, and then we're going to finish off our bottoms. So 3 double crochet in each of the spaces along here while slip stitching to the top hexagon. Okay, now we're at our corner space. I'm going to work my first double crochet, slip stitch, my second double crochet, pull up more yarn here. I'm going to slip stitch into my corner right beside me, hop over, slip stitch to this one so that we have nice tight corner joins, chain 1. Now I'm going to work the other half of this corner. Okay, and now I'm going to slip stitch over here into the top of that double crochet stitch and work my last double crochet of the corner and then slip stitch. And now we're going to go down the side. It's pulling me down. Okay, I'm at my corner, so I'm going to work my first double crochet, slip stitch into there, my second double crochet, and then we're going to slip stitch into that chain 1 corner space right there. Okay, and chain 1. And then easy peasy, we just finish off the rest of this hexagon. So I'm going to go down this side here. Okay, so I've just worked half of this corner and I'm going to pull back and show what we've done. So this was our starting motif, and now we're down over here. Okay, if you have one more hexagon to finish off this row, then that's fine, because just like at the top where we have the staggered rows, some go in and some go out, the same will be true for the end of our blanket. Some will be indented, and some of them you'll have one more and then it'll stick out just a little bit over here. Okay, and all you do is the exact same thing, you just finish off the sides. So there's nothing fancy you need to know for that. Okay, so if you have another motif, just keep going. Okay, you join and keep going all the way around until you finish the end of your row. I'm calling it done. So I'm just going to work this corner as usual, which means I'm going to chain 1 and put 2 double crochet in there. And we're going to work all the way over here, just regular double crochet stitches. Oops. Okay, I'm in a corner, so I'm going to do 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, okay, so we've come to one of those junctures again. So we only have half a corner here, so we have to do the obvious thing, which is to put in 2 double crochet to finish that corner off before we do anything else here. Let's just finish the corner so we don't get ahead of ourselves. And then we chain 1. Okay, now we slip stitch into the chain 1 space over here. Okay, see that little hole there? If I put my finger behind it, you can see it better. See, just slip stitching, chain 1, and then we finish this corner over here with our 2 double crochet. Okay. Oops. Oh my goodness. There we go. And now we're gonna work along the side, and I wanted to show you how I deal with joining a new ball of yarn. Okay, so I'm cutting this. Sacrilege. Okay, so we've come to the end of our skein. I'm going to crochet half of a double crochet, so incomplete. So I just yarned over, pull through 2 of those loops. Pinch that down with your finger, hold it down, grab the tail of your new skein and just place it this way. And we are going to continue on working. So we're going to finish that stitch with the new skein, like so. Okay, so we just pulled through. Yarn over while we're still pinching these. Hold those in place. And we're just going to work another stitch and another stitch. Now I'm going to pull up my loop, flip it over, and we are going to tighten these up just a bit. You don't want to like scrunch your stitches. If you pull too hard, then they get all like squished down and yucky looking. So just gentle, gentle. Get out of here, scissors. And I'll turn it so you can actually see the knot I'm going to do. Now, it depends on the yarn I'm using. With this one, you can just do, like if you're using a wool or something that will eventually felt, you can just do a square knot or a reef knot, which is right over left. Okay, push that down, and then left over right. Okay, and then I take both of these tails, all right, and I will put them on my needle, and I will sew them probably up here, down and around. I'd like to try and find a corner that I can go back, forth, back, forth, back, forth a couple times. Okay, I find that the 3 stitches, like just of this space, isn't enough. Okay, so I will weave it up over here through the tops of those and then just into the back corner. I'm not going to do that because I have to take these out because these motifs are actually part of the blanket that I still need to finish for the pattern. So I am not going to sew it, but that is what I would do if I was sewing. Okay, if you are using a very slippery yarn, then I would do a surgeon's knot. What is that, you ask? I will show you. So, same as the square or reef knot, except you go through 2 times, okay? And I do this for like those superwash merinos because they tend to be really, really soft, okay? And then left over right, but then you just put it through one more time and cinch it down. I don't want to cinch it down because I need to take it out. I'll just leave it like so, so it doesn't fall apart while I'm working on it though. That would be tragic. Okay, so that's how I add a new skein. Easy peasy. All right, so we are coming up on the end of our project here. How exciting. Okay, let's finish up this side of our hexagon. And I'm at the corner. So once you finish, you have your whole blanket or project, whatever it is you're working on, joined up. Then you're going to have this side, the side where we started. And just like the bottoms were naked over here, now you have all these naked sides. So we just have to finish those. And we do it the exact same way that we finished off all of the bottoms of the rows. So I'm going to finish this corner here with my 2 double crochet, and I'm going to work up the side. Okay. Now I'm in a corner, so I'm going to do 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. Can you believe that I still haven't had a sip of coffee? I know, me neither. Now I'm going to work across my row or edge. Oops, oops, oops. There we go. Okay, so we have come to one of those junctures where we only have half a corner worked up. Let's put in 2 double crochet to finish off that corner, chain 1, and then we're going to find our little chain 1 space. Okay, found it, slip stitch, chain 1, and finish the corner over here with 2 double crochet. I'm at a corner, so I'm going to do 2 double crochet, maybe chain 1, and 2 double crochet. And now I'm finishing off my very last edge or side. Oh, excuse me. Wanted to be part of the party, I guess. Okay, so we are all the way back to the beginning, and we are going to join in here, okay? Not into our chain 2, into the top of this first double crochet we had. That just gives a really nice, tight, clean looking join, okay? So you would cut your yarn. There you have it. Oh, it's pulling. There we go. That's better. Okay, we've joined it up. Look at how great it looks. Fun, right? So you cut your yarn and then you feed it down this way. You put this on your needle as well, and then you just sew it back and forth, back and forth. I am not going to do that because I am about to rip it all out and go finish my blanket. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you guys can make beautiful blankets after this. Take care. Bye.